folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to another episode of our Mare Nostrum expansion Let's Play of Europa Universalis 4. We are playing as Lübeck, but I want to take a little tour of the world real quick. It looks like Portugal, I assume, declared war against Morocco, but Morocco's actually gone and is sieging stuff in Portugal itself, which is nuts. Castile has finished the Reconquista over here with Granada. But yeah, there's tons of nut stuff. Portugal looks like they are going to win overall, and especially with these rebels here, but it is kind of freaky. Yeah, they have plus 79. Still amazing. I guess Morocco moved its troops over here, and Portugal was like, okay, I will siege all your things. That's fine. Ottomans making their move on Karaman over here. Pretty standard. Borders look relatively, nothing really crazy or unexpected happening yet. Same thing in Italy. Things are seeming pretty normal-ish overall, I would say. Over in the east, as far as we can see, again, things pretty normal. Denmark did win their war for Riga, and looks like, for Neva. And I think that's all they took. Pascal starts off independent and all that in, current state of the game, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if anything else was claimed over here. Right, core provinces of Finland, but no. Looks like they just took that one province they were interested in. It's a very powerful one, really good for trade. Which is actually just going to probably push more trade forward towards Lübeck, honestly, which is pretty good for me. It's all right, not too shaken up. I'm really hoping that we can get Sweden and Norway to declare independence from Denmark relatively soon, because I want to take a bite out of Denmark. So we're spending a little bit of effort sucking up to Poland, because it would be nice if we could get them in an alliance. And yeah, we don't have any sort of mutual rivalries going on or anything like that. We do have a pretty weak army compared to them, which does suck. And we can't royal marry them, which makes it a little harder to build up a relationship, but otherwise we're okay. We can go for our very first idea over here, which I think is worth doing. If nothing else, unlocking 3 ideas. First of all, super cheap mercs. Also, the reduced core creation is sexy, but also will get us to more trade power. So I don't think we're going to delay here. I don't think there's any reason to save up our administrative points. One thing we did, if we are going to keep re-electing our current person, and the Republican tradition will go up, it does become nice. You can see how much the stability cost modifier goes up. It will become quite attractive for us to go and boost our stability, but we will have to wait until our Republican tradition goes up quite a bit, because it is ridiculously expensive right now. Let's verify we are still at our force limit for both of those. Yep. We do have some buildings we can build. We can get our marketplace and our temples in both of these. And at some point, we will want that. But right now, their autonomy is quite high, so it's not necessarily worthwhile. So mostly I'm building a nest egg so that if there is a war, we can merc it up and then probably win. I don't think there's any reason to save our diplo power, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the next level of diplomatic technology. We have burnt away all of our corruption because of our ahead of time over here, which is really nice. Really, really quite exceptional. And we are ahead of time in all the things right now. Now, if we are ahead of time on Diplo, we will probably want to promote mercantilism, especially at a time when our corruption is non-existent, because it will not hurt our corruption. It won't buff it at all. So that's good to see. Brandenburg is at peace. Pomerania is at peace. How disappointing. And Denmark is improving relationship over here. Interesting. I certainly don't want Denmark to become an ally with Pomerania. Yeah, we have to remember that Poland is independent of Lithuania. They are broken up right now, and Pomerania is allied to Lithuania, which maybe gives us that much more reason to go and try to get an alliance with Poland. We'll see how it goes. So I could get some advisors again at this point. We're not making a ton of money. We do need the money for mercs and or potentially build buildings. We are ahead of everything. I mean, an administrative guy wouldn't be wasted because, of course, that would let us get our ideas a little bit faster. But actually, I think I'm going to prefer just making money right now. I think I'm going to be much happier with just sitting on some cash and may, in fact, go and build more buildings over here. I don't think we're going to build a fort. There's something to be said about putting a fort right here. It might be handy, but I don't think helps us that much. I don't usually find myself building forts unless there's a really good strategic reason for it. And here, I don't think this is going to be a long-term border, and I'm not that afraid of these guys, coming in and sieging my stuff. It would give us, if we do go and put a fort here, it would mean they couldn't reach Lübeck right away, which means we would have an opportunity to build troops here. So there's something to be said for that. So I'm not going to spend as soon as we hit 100. So we'll get the little pop-up to say that you can build a temple or marketplace. But what I think I might do is, every time I hit like 200, I might go ahead and build one of those. That way we've got a good amount of money in the bank for quickly buying mercs. Again, we get the 25% discount on that, which is pretty good. And later on, we'll get the discount on maintenance as well. So there you go. There's a little flag for the improvements, which we're just going to ignore for now. We have claims on things, some of which may start to expire soon. We'll see how it goes. And suck up to Poland, suck up to Norway. So not yet. It'd be nice if they became friendly towards me. Actually, we're very close to them being willing to do that. Now, that would put us above our relationship cap. We could break one of these alliances. Now, I'm worried if I broke it with Bremen or Munster, because it might upset them enough to leave the trade league, which would be a little bit annoying. But obviously, getting an alliance with Poland is going to be more valuable overall. That being said, is Poland going to drag me into more defensive wars? They're allied with Lithuania, so I don't have to worry about Lithuania attacking them. So that's good. And if Hungary attacked them, will Lithuania be on their side? Okay, so actually, I'm fine, because if I get a defensive call from Poland, then Poland's going to have lots of good, strong defenders. So I'd be very comfortable accepting, because we probably won't lose the war. So yeah, I'm going to do that, and I don't know who I'm going to ditch. I think we're going to ditch Munster again, because they don't add that much. I'm hoping that won't cause them to leave the trade league. It may, though. Tell you what, I'm going to stop improving relations with Norway for a while. I'm going to go and cap the relationship with Munster again while we wait. Very close. And then we'll be at 100% relationship with them, so even when we break the alliance, hopefully they won't be too bitter. And yeah, just wait for this to go green. Very close. So again, we're sitting at our manpower cap, but I don't feel that that's a waste. We're only losing 100 men per month. And, ooh. That's a good question. Normally I say spare no expense. And I think that's still going to be the case. Yeah, let's go for it. We don't have any inflation reduction or anything like that. I'm certainly not going to spend to reduce it now. But it's not too bad. Republican tradition. And I would like to get that high enough that it's worth boosting my stability. Right now it would be way too expensive. There's the alliance offer. So we can stop improving relations with Poland. Bosnia declares war on Ragusa. Goodbye, Ragusa. That'll break up that trade node, so Venice will be happy. And we'll offer the alliance to Poland. Lovely. And we do have too many relations. So, I'm just going to wait for the diplomat to come home. And I'm going to say, sorry, I'm going to dissolve this alliance. And we'll still have a defensive alliance. And right now, they're still happy. So, well, they have an alliance attitude. That will change. Yeah, they'll change to neutral. Broke alliance. But still relatively good. So I think Munster's going to stay in the trade alliance, which is good. Because A, I get more trade power, and B, it's another defensive ally. So wow, yeah, this is really a huge boost to these one province miners. At this point in the game, like probably Riga would be gone, and like half these little one province miners over here would be gone. But now that's no longer the case. In fact, Friesland, by not accepting, or by expanding here, and not being able to be in a trade alliance or a what's it called? Trade league. Friesland can't, because they're two provinces, so they're not allowed. And of course, they didn't like me enough in the first place. They're actually more vulnerable than East Frisia, for example, which is kind of funny. Venice declares war on Ragusa. Everyone's declaring war on Ragusa. And we have some free diplomats. So what are we going to do with that? One thing I could do is, if I'm planning on going to one of these wars, is I could go and actually do some espionage somewhere else, because apparently it'll reduce aggressive expansion. Alternatively, I could just boost my espionage in my potential targets so that it can siege things down faster, which is probably better. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and build a spy network in both Pomerania and Brandenburg. There you go. Just keep my diplomats busy. I could suck up to someone like Austria or something like that. You know, all those things might be really valuable. That's it. I got even more protection. If Denmark declares war on me, the Trade League fires, my alliances fire, Austria would get called in because I'm part of the HRE, of course. I am, right? Yeah. Yes, I am. Like, hold on. I'm not telling lies, am I? We're hitting about 200 here, so I'm going to take this opportunity to go ahead and yeah, we can get a fair bit more trade power over here from the marketplace. And not only does that give us more income overall, I mean, it's not that much, but it, you know, it will help a little trade power, so we'll squeeze out a little bit more income overall, but also denies income from other people, which is really valuable. In particular, we are competing over the Lübeck trade node with Denmark over here, so it would be nice to compete with them a little bit more. Still 33% and actually making a little over 6 gold now. Very nice. Very, very nice. I'm still happy with having a merchant collecting trade here. So yeah, we're not going to build anything yet. That's our little nest egg. You are... I wonder where your troops are. You still have too powerful of a navy, which is actually going to make sieging all the islands really, really difficult. So our first war is almost certainly going to be sieging the peninsula here, because we probably can't make the jump to the islands. But once we take that, we will expand our coastline significantly and shrink Denmark's coastline significantly, which should cause a flip in naval force limit. Yeah, Novgorod is weakened from the previous war, and might allow us to field a big enough navy. I might have to build more galleys. Obviously, barks are still better for trade power, but we may have to win an actual naval battle against Denmark, especially since we don't really have another ally against Denmark with sea access. We keep befriending people inland. Don't get me wrong, that's pretty awesome. But, yeah, that's an interesting point. All right, let's stick at speed 4 for now. We'll also have to make a decision as to religion-wise. We probably aren't going to be staying Catholic, although being Catholic does give you another way to increase your mercantilism over here. It does cost a lot of papal influence, but almost certainly we'll be flipping. I quite like Reformed for trade republics, although Protestant also has, you know, some bonuses, but I think we get... I'm not sure. I'd have to look up the wiki to compare the exact math between what do they call them? Are they edicts or whatever? You know, the decisions you can take as Protestant versus the area where you can put focus in as a Reformed, and compare the overall trade power you would gain one versus the other, and see how it goes. Again, I don't think there's any reason to save up our admin power at this point. Eventually, I will probably want to improve my stability, but right now the cost is still boosted too much from our low Republican tradition. So I'll grab this. Adaptability doesn't do anything for us right now, although that is a hell of a nice discount. But we're going to keep going up our ideas, because if we can unlock the global trade power, I will be very happy. Discover an agent. Okay, that's fine. They still have 50 power, which is a lot. And yeah, we're just going to buff it over here. Poland declared war on the Teutonic Order. So, Livonian Order and Hungary. That's quite a bit. And who's on your side here? I guess it doesn't tell me it this way if I go this way. Ah, Lithuania did join in. Okay, good. So that means Poland should be okay. It is fighting a lot of people simultaneously. Oh, I guess I could have done this. Well, that doesn't show me... That shows me alliances, nuts. Or does it? I guess we're allied, and they're actually in the war. Ah. Did they change the color of things? I don't know. Anyway, I think that probably looks okay for the Poland war. Now, they shouldn't call me in unless, for some reason, favor stuff gets up high enough. Okay, I'm not going to re-elect Otto Hür over here, because I want to try to get the Republican tradition as high as possible before I start, you know, repeatedly electing the same person. I'm going to go for another bureaucrat, though. This, again, it will boost the guilds, though. That is really interesting that we start to worry about that. And it's a big boost to the guilds. It's 20 influence. Reduces build cost, though. And goods produced modifier does give me more money. You know what? I'm okay with this. I'm going to get another bureaucrat. So the guilds took over. That's okay. Provincial unrest is building up again. But it's a lot lower than it used to be. So I'm more comfortable. Oh, I'm still at full maintenance. I forgot to lower it after we fully reinforced our army. So I wasted a few bucks there. Damn. So I can't fabricate claims, right? I'm fully capped on these guys. Yeah. So we're just building for the fun of it. Or, you know, so that we can do crazy things with them at some point in the future. Maybe if the war breaks out. Obviously, right now would be a bad time to war because of Poland. If they did call us in, though, I mean, there's lots of reasons I would say yes, but it would be nice to build up favor and trust with them as a result of joining in the war. In fact, we might even go down there with some troops and try to join in one of these battles to have a little bit of war contribution, therefore generate a little bit more favor. Trade League of Novgorod is disbanded. Not enough members after someone left. And Novgorod's not going to be around for much longer anyway. That's good, because that should effectively give us a little bit more power in the Baltic Sea. We got a little bit of power there, mostly because it's flowing upstream. That's all. Eventually, we will be running ships over here, but we need a much higher force limit before we do that. We're going to have to do that. don't like being at negative stability, that's for sure, but it's still a little too pricey to increase right now. Not that we have the power anyway. Although we are getting power pretty quickly. 9 per month is not bad. And that will increase the rate because we have positive national unrest, but it's still not too bad. So we're losing some tax money, some global trade power for a little while. I will get up to +1 again, but again, we'll just wait for the Republican tradition to grow. And if I got taken the -10 hit, I mean, that would be forever before we could feel comfortable about buffing up our leader to get a good point thing. And of course, it would continue to make it impossible to boost our stability. But this does hurt. I think I have enough money. I'm going to go ahead and grab... Huh. I don't know. Might actually be handy to have a little bit less unrest for now. Do we have a decision that needs a certain guy that we'd be happy to grab? Wow, we really need a 4th merchant, quick. Right, no. No. We're not passing right now. No. Okay, so I don't think we need a guy to pass anything specifically. I mean, I could take this guy who would somewhat pay for himself, which is certainly nice. But we do have a little bit of unrest, and again, the rebellions are a bit annoying right now. I'm going to go ahead and take Albrecht for now. That's going to be okay. We'll delay that rebellion a bit. In fact, one of the provinces is down to 0. Oh, okay, 0.8. Rounding error. Ragusan Trade League is gone, probably because, yeah, Ragusa itself is gone. War of the Roses is triggered. Also, a lot of wars going on here in the HRE. Saxony, another one of our allies, is in a war. It's the Magdeburg, or it's the Brunswickian conquest of Magdeburg. Brunswick might become a little bit more powerful. And one of the people we considered making friends with. They actually are still good friends. We could even ally them. I mean, we're capped, but they would be a powerful ally. And I don't remember. Oh, they were allied to Brandenburg, which is awkward sauce, so that's no good. It's not going to be terribly helpful because almost certainly they'll join in a defensive war there. But we could, if we did declare war on Saxe-Lauenburg and they jumped in, I mean, then they'd be on opposite sides. Wouldn't, like, screw up their alliance too badly. Yeah, I don't know. We have enough money now. I'm going to go ahead and build another trade building. Look at the discount. This is actually quite cool with the guild. That's actually really quite nice. Hell, let's go ahead and build the taxation building too. We're not getting that much value out of it right now, although it's still something. And as the autonomy continues to drop, it'll be okay. Just in case we lose the guilds as the dominant force here. Because most likely the next guy I will elect, just so that the guild doesn't like run away with the influence, I'll probably grab a diplomat guy to boost it with the traders. Because actually, we're not that far away. See, our ahead of time bonus is almost completely gone, so it's going to be very comfortable to do that. Money is going up, and I still, money is still a very important thing. How are we on force limit? Okay, still where we were before. I mean, I like power. Pomerania declared war on the Teutonic Order. Interesting. Interesting. Out of curiosity, Poland won't because, I mean, they're busy and we don't have 10 favor. But Saxony and Bremen will. Saxony, are you still in war? No, you're not in a war anymore. Who's going to join in to defend you? Lithuania will, although Lithuania is a bit busy. Lüneburg would jump in. We'd be able to take them out of the picture instantly. I think we might be doing this. We'll be using this guy for a little while, who's not great. But what would this be? River crossing into woods. We have no maneuver. Do they have a maneuver guy? They do. And we still have no tradition. Erg. Let's turn our leader into a thing just to say, here, you're even better. We do have the numbers advantage, which is something. Sure, you can have military access. That's fine. Do we have like a... We have a morale of the armies guy. I mean, you want money before you go into a war, but the morale boost would actually be quite helpful. I think we can take Lüneburg out of this right away. Pomerania, how big is your... Actually, first of all, how big is your navy? What do you got? Okay, just 9 ships that can fight, only 6 galleys. Slightly more galleys than I have, but... Oh, and I should unmothball you. But that is not unmanageable. We'll get you to move up over there. We do have a fair number of light ships, which is still handy. Alright, I kind of like this. Okay, I'm going to boost the stability now to 0. Get you grouped up. Get you a little bit of repair. Not going to want to move out until then. I'm currently at my leadership limit, but I may want to go and roll an admiral regardless. And I think I will. Let me cancel the espionage here. And I'm going to make sure just to spend a little bit of time sucking up to Saxony, just in case they were on the edge of maybe joining or not joining. We're going to make sure that, you know, we've got as much of a relationship as possible. And we're not going to be fully moraled up. Actually, because those are enemy guys, right? I mean, we're not going to be fully moraled up here either. If we declared war, because Verdun's going to join in. I don't know if they would get the forest, the woods penalty or not. I don't know who would be considered the attacker in this particular situation. I certainly wouldn't want to attack into them. That would be particularly bad. And this is woods and the river crossing. We can't do that. We can't do that. That's too much. I should really have more cavalry as part of my manpower guys. And then, of course, we're going to do mercs for our infantry. Let me go ahead and start this up. We're going to go slightly above our force limit. I don't think we're going to declare right this second. My church is building. Troops building over there. We need these repairs to happen anyway. I'll keep the morale going up. Yeah, this is it's going to be interesting. And Poland is still busy. Let me go ahead and keep sucking up to you over here for a little while. Ideally, I don't know what we want. Yeah, and you're in that war. I mean, So effectively, Poland is fighting with us on this go. Alright, I think what we're going to do is declare war... No, you stop. Oh, that's not my unit. Those are reinforcements coming from Verdun. I think we are going to go, and we're going to go 9 versus 6k. We will get -2 to our rolls. Let's recruit another general. There we go. Oh, you got shock and 4 maneuver. Brilliant. Brilliant. We're going to fire a useless guy over here. So now we won't get the river crossing either. I'm going to wait for the cavalry to finish. Hopefully we don't miss our window. But I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be fine. When does this finish? 21st of January. Oh, that's quite long. It's definitely quite long. Although that's more time maybe for, you know, Pomerania to lose some dudes. Something like that could work out. I don't know. We can also get our next level of stability, which I do want before we start. So I'm actually going to do that now. And we're paying a little bit extra, but it's going to help us stay a little bit more stable at peace. Sorry, rebellion-wise, plus give us a little bit more tax and trade income. Contacts in the Holy See. You go there. Our units always look this way. They look quite cool here. Contacts in the Holy See. Blah, 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 blah. Lose 100 min power, but we get a cardinal. No, gain 100 min power. Yes. Holy crap. Who cares about cardinals? We're not going to be Catholics. Okay. So we're not fully moraled up on the knights, but we're about to get a tick. And then, you know, so... Oh, we don't have a diplomat. Right, of course not. Okay, so, I mean, we get the tick while we're moving regardless. But I think we're going to go and do the war declaration. How are our ships coming along? Not bad. So I'm not going to rush out the blockade until they're fully repaired. Okay. Let's do it. We're not going to co-belligerize anyone. Do we want to declare war in a different way? No, we don't really have claims on anything. I mean, I don't think we can declare war. Yeah, it's trade league and everything. What could possibly go wrong? Well, we're going to find out next episode, folks. I think we will get a -2 to rolls. This is really... No, we're going to get a -1 to our rolls. Because we have the morale, or we have the maneuver to not get the river crossing. We're going to get a -1, but we're going to have +2 on our shock, which is really good. We're slightly above our force limit, of course, but I'm willing to accept that for now. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and merge our infantry when we're on the other side, when we finish the battle. So we'll be below our force limit, and then we can go and always resupplement with mercs if we need more infantry. I think it's going to be fine, but we will have to wait until next time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.